Okay. So, bring.
Yeah.
Who's calling my phone?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
First of all, you know that media training is mandatory for NBA players every year.
It should be for owners.
It should be for executives, too.
So what's
Because this is the second time he said
Josh
something.
Kroenke?
Yeah.
That's his, I know that's the son, but what's his role?
He's president of the team, I think.
Okay.
Team president.
Okay.
Technically, I think he's the owner because Stan can't own the Rams and...
That's correct. Multiple sports franchises at the same time.
Yeah, multiple. So his wife owns the hockey team, and his son owns the Nuggets.
So he owns all of them.
But here's the thing. I want to decipher what he said, okay? Because he wasn't saying that they're looking at the possibility of trading Nikola Jokic. He was saying that because of the current cap rules, and I think seeing what the Boston Celtics are having to do, which is sell off pieces to avoid the second apron and to avoid the penalties that come with this new salary cap rule, or the Phoenix Suns making the best deal they can with Kevin Durant and possibly buying out Bradley Beal, that the Denver Nuggets, and this is a very Kroenke-like thing to say, we have to be very careful with all of our contracts that we don't put ourselves in the same position so that we're not forced to do the unthinkable, which is move our franchise player.
Okay, Rick, but what I heard was trading number 15 is what I heard personally, is what I
And those words should never come out of his mouth.
What I had heard him say was number 15 and trade is what I heard.
And those words should never be in the same sentence. I hear you.
Should they start making calls, Paul?
Man, I feel like they need to take that back.
Yeah. No, you know what he needs to do?
We need to have another press conference.
You can't take it back.
I was just kidding.
I'm just kidding.
I had a long night the night before. I made some mistakes.
I'm not used to being up on this podium like this with all these people talking.
Yes.
I'm not used to. I'm not used to spotlight like y'all do it every day as hoopers.
Yeah.
Me, I'm behind the scenes most of the time. I apologize, Joker. Mr. Joker, is there anything that I can do for you?
Yep.
You know what? We're going to get some pieces for you this summer because we know you are a generational
We're going to get you a farm.
talent that's dominating.
You like those horses?
Now.
We're going to fly some of the horses in.
I didn't hear that, though. I didn't see
You weren't listening right. See, you got to listen because there's between the sentences.
All he said is similar to what Rick said.
That I got to trade this asset.
Yeah, but because
who's pushing and shoving?
But push comes to shove, right? You look at Boston and Tatum. Tatum goes down. So the first thing, they got all this money tied up. You don't want things to implode on you.
Yeah, hold on now. The Boston Celtics traded Kristaps Porzingis and Drew Holiday.
I know, but the question was raised: should they trade Jaylen Brown?
Yeah, and they talking about possibly doing that too. Because
I'm sorry, I didn't say it. I'm not saying it.
That's why you don't know about April
Am I saying this clearly?
Can we?
It's very clear.
By the way, can we show the video?
I'm talking about Nikola Jokic.
Yes.
The best player in the league.
Trading him.
They're not trading.
But they said
they're not taking calls.
He just said
they're not taking calls.
Yeah, they're not taking calls.
Join. You know what? If he's going to have a tape recording, if you call, it's going to say, "Look, this is Josh Kroenke. Forget what I said. We're not trading Nikola Jokic."
And somebody done called already, though. You already know that.
We have had this conversation. We have had this conversation up here about if he should want to stay there.
That's different.
This is
okay. So I'm not even saying the word.
I'm with you. It was he misspoke. By the way, can we show the video again of him speaking? Because I want you to see Jonathan Wallace on the left. He's their new director of personnel.
Look at him.
Look at his face when he says it.
Yeah, he got his
Which one? Which guy? The black guy?
The guy on the left.
Which left?
Which left?
No, our left.
I was going to ask that. Who's left? You sit on the other side of us.
It's okay, Rick. You can say the brother.
The brother.
Okay, there you go, Rick.
There you go.
You told me to say that.
You can say it. Don't do everything I tell you, though.
I know better than that.
They're distinctly.
No, you had to check the brother out, though.
Not look the same. Okay to describe what people look like. All right. Well, one trade that did reportedly happen in the Western Conference Was Kevin Durant being moved from the Suns to the Rockets? KD found out that he was traded while he was on stage during Fanatics Fest, and after KD got off stage, he talked about how he felt the Suns wanted to get rid of him. Paul, do you feel bad for Kevin Durant?
No, I don't feel bad. Like he said, he got what he wanted, they got what they wanted. I mean, you're paying an incredibly steep price for a player of KD's magnitude and for them not to make the playoffs. And this is a domino effect that we're seeing all around the league, where you're seeing high-priced guys get moved. And in the Phoenix Suns situation, they should really consider moving Devin Booker. And this has nothing to do with Devin Booker, but if I'm Devin Booker, I would want to get out of Phoenix now, because it looks like that they're going into a total rebuild now. And Devin Booker is still in the middle of his prime. He's getting older. And I'm sure he wants to be in a situation to where he could contend for a title. So I wouldn't be shocked if in a few weeks or before the season, they have an offer for Devin Booker coming up. But KD, as far as KD, like he said, he got what he wanted. They got what they wanted. And everybody can live in harmony.
Let's go our separate ways.
And go our separate ways in a good way. You know, no backlash amongst, player and team.
He knew it was happening for however long. Once the season was over with, the conversation started to happen, and they was going to go in a different direction. And he seems at peace with it. And had they not, he was eligible for an extension anyway, so they was going to have to pay him even more money. So they had to make a money decision. They had to do all of those things and get him gone while he still had all his value. Because if you wait till the next season is over with, that value is going to decrease, not increase. So, and he knew the whole time, though. KD up there playing awesome, man. He knew the whole time what time it was.
When I read what he says, it doesn't sound the way he said it. He said it like they didn't want me. And I'm thinking, well, okay, you didn't want the Oklahoma City Thunder. You didn't want the Golden State Warriors. You're just getting kind of the other side of what you've done to teams, which is, I don't want to be here anymore. That said, we don't want you to be anymore. Now,
but is that because of the player or because of the commitment that they're going to have to make?
I think it's both. I think ultimately the Phoenix Suns look at what they gave up to get Kevin Durant, who wanted to come to the Phoenix Suns.
Get some of those assets back.
And they gave up multiple players and multiple first-round picks, and they didn't get what they expected, which is he's going to take us, to the very least, to the second round, if not beyond, because we were able to get to the second round without him, with Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges. And so they didn't get their return. And now it would cost them an extension.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know what? We need to make the best of a bad situation. The thing I struggle with right now, excuse me, is whether it's KD or whether we heard LeBron James in the Cooper Flagg's just getting such a better opportunity than I had when I came in the league. What is it with our best players sounding like, you know what, I'm just not being treated the way I should be treated? It seems to be an epidemic right now, and it makes it hard for me to fully appreciate who they are as players when they say some of the things that they say. And maybe in LeBron's case, it's taken out of context because we're just hearing a snippet of what is a full podcast. But, oh, man, this woe is me for guys who are as great as they are as players. It hits my ear wrong.
Well, I don't think it's a woe is me. Like if we just do they wanted me to go, and he then says, I'm glad they got what they wanted and I got what I wanted, so we can move on. I don't think he's saying it's a woe is me. I actually think he's softening it, because he's saying this was kind of a mutual decision. Like KD knew when they didn't make the playoffs that this was a wrap. Of course, everyone knew that you're not going to continue to pay the highest bill in the league and not make the playoffs. Yeah. That's not acceptable, and it doesn't even make sense. That being said, the Suns are not a well-run organization in any capacity. I mean, I think that's pretty well known at this point.
Certainly the last few years. Certainly since Matt Ishbia took over.
Back a little further than that.
They did go to the finals prior to that.
Okay.
But I hear what you're saying, Joy.
Yes, like an outlier, I think, is safe to say at this point. Like, this is not an organization that I'm looking at like, okay, this is clearly just KD's fault.
I'm not going to say that the previous ownership was stellar either. That's fair.
Yeah. I think it's a mutual decision, and it's something that we all knew was coming. So I don't think I don't like feeling bad for him. I think he's literally saying that this was a mutual decision. I wanted to go, they wanted to go. We all did this in a kind of, in a really pretty smooth way. Like, we knew that this was going to happen. The only thing that was a headline about it is that he was on stage when it happened.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.